If I asked you to imagine the life of an ancient human, say a Neanderthal in the Ice Age, you probably imagine a world defined by brutality, total violence, everyone fighting for themselves, a world with zero room for softness. If pop culture taught you anything about ancient humans, it's probably this. A hulking, unwashed brute drags a screaming partner by their hair into a cold cave while swinging a club at a saber-toothed tiger. High stakes? Sure. But historically accurate? Absolute nonsense. For decades, we've treated our prehistoric ancestors like mindless rage monsters who only cared about two things: killing animals and not freezing to death. But recent archaeological breakthroughs have revealed something mind-blowing. In a world where a minor tooth infection or a single bad winter meant total extinction, love was not a luxury. It was a high-stakes survival strategy. Today, we are throwing out the brutal caveman myth and answering the biggest questions about prehistoric romance. How did ancient humans flirt before language existed? Did they risk their lives to bring their lovers gifts? And most importantly, did they protect each other when the world tried to tear them apart? Grab your furs, because prehistory was way sweeter and way crazier than you think. Did ancient humans bring their lovers gifts? Let's start with a classic: gift giving. If you think buying a dozen roses on Valentine's Day is hard work, try making a romantic gesture 40,000 years ago. Archaeologists digging in ancient caves across Europe and Africa kept finding something weird: tiny, polished beads made of mammoth ivory, pierced animal teeth, and rare seashells. Now you might think, okay, cool, a bone necklace. But let's look at the math. To turn a single piece of rock-hard mammoth tusk into one tiny, smooth bead required over 3 hours of relentless, hand-cramping scraping with a sharp piece of flint. To make a full necklace, that's over 100 hours of pure, exhausting labor. When an Ice Age human handed someone a carved ivory necklace, they weren't just giving them jewelry, they were handing them 4 straight days of their finite life. If that's not a flex, I don't know what is. And if you wanted to go full hopeless romantic, you went after wild honey. In the Pleistocene, honey was the ultimate treasure, packed with sweet calories in a world that tasted like bitter roots and raw meat. But getting it meant climbing 50-foot cliffs while getting swarmed by angry prehistoric bees without armor. Bringing back a honeycomb to your partner was basically the Ice Age equivalent of scaling a burning building to fetch someone a dessert. Talk about high stakes for a sweet treat. How did ancient humans flirt without speaking? Okay, so you've got the ivory necklace and the stolen honey, but how did you actually flirt when formal spoken language was still thousands of years away? You couldn't exactly drop a smooth pickup line. The answer is both deeply sweet and mildly gross: parasite hunting. Before we had modern hygiene, picking fleas, dirt, and ticks out of each other's hair, known as social grooming, was the ultimate act of affection. Think about it. In a wild world full of hostile tribes and giant predators, allowing someone to stand directly behind you, touching your head and neck, requires absolute 100% trust. Scientifically, social grooming triggers a massive flood of oxytocin and endorphins in the brain. It lowered heart rates, reduced stress, and created deep emotional bonds. So while it looks to us like two cavemen having a flea-picking party, to them, it was a high-level bonding ritual. It was the prehistoric equivalent of a long, relaxing spa day with the person you love most. Plus, fewer bugs in your hair. Win-win. Did ancient humans protect their lovers with their lives? Now let's turn up the stakes to maximum, because showing love when times are good is easy. But what happened when the Ice Age threw absolute chaos at you? In the famous Shanidar cave in modern-day Iraq, archaeologists discovered the skeleton of a male Neanderthal named Shanidar I. When scientists examined his bones, they were shocked. This man had suffered a catastrophic blow to the left side of his skull, rendering him blind in one eye. His right arm was completely withered and fractured in multiple places, and he walked with a severe limp. In a cold, brutal, predator-filled world, Shanidar I should have died in days. But bone growth proves he lived for decades after his injuries. How? Because his partner and tribe refused to leave him behind. For 20 years, people brought him food, protected him from cave hyenas, and chewed soft meat for him when his teeth failed. In prehistory, protecting your partner wasn't just standing in front of a predator with a spear. It was taking care of them for 7,000 consecutive days when they couldn't give anything back. Loyalty in the Ice Age was forged in blood and unconditional care. Did ancient humans grieve a lost love? We've seen how they flirted, how they brought gifts, and how they protected each other from predators. But what happened when all those efforts failed and prehistory claimed a lost love? For a long time, scientists assumed early humans just dragged dead bodies away from camp to keep scavengers from sniffing out the tribe. But archaeological digs tell a hauntingly different story. At the Shanidar cave site in Iraq, pollen analysis revealed something incredible. A Neanderthal was buried on a bed woven from vibrant spring wildflowers: yarrow, cornflowers, and grape hyacinths. Their family didn't just bury them. They gathered flowers to honor them. And near Moscow, at a 30,000-year-old site called Sunghir, two young humans were laid to rest side by side holding hands. They were dressed in matching clothes decorated with over 10,000 hand-carved ivory beads that took thousands of hours to make. They didn't waste weeks of work on a cold, unfeeling disposal. They grieved, they cried, and they sent their partners into the unknown wrapped in the finest things they possessed. Grief is the price we pay for love, and the fact that our ancestors felt it 30,000 years ago proves that behind those stone tools was a heart just like yours. So the next time someone tries to tell you that ancient humans were cold, unfeeling savages, remember that our capacity for deep, ridiculous, high-stakes love is the very reason we survived long enough to be here today. Which ancient love story blew your mind the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, subscribe for more epic history breakdowns, and I'll see you in the next one.